So how's everyone? Hi, people on Zoom. Hi, everyone here. So we are going to start first, right? So welcome to our workshop. So
Click the power button.
oops, yeah. Oh, the people is just right here. Then yeah, come in. Come on in. You're not late. I just start 1 minute too early. So welcome to the Organize Your Team workshop. Can I know how many of you came here as a team? One team, two team there. Woo! And my man here. Yes. All right. So take a seat. We will have fun. So welcome to the Organize Your Team workshop. And my name is Gabriel. Oops. There are some people here. You. Admit. So let's talk a little bit background about myself. So I'm a Canadian Chinese that have lived half of my life in Hong Kong. And is there more people here? Nope. And then I specifically focus on the startup space, and I work with a lot of startups. Indeed, the shoes that I'm wearing is built by a startup in Hong Kong. They are just launching in Hong Kong. So this is actually a prototype that I'm wearing here. So I work with a lot of startups, and oftentimes we see a problem in startup or in large organizations. So basically, companies, no matter what their size is that companies usually do not have like a very established communication system when they're trying to start a new project. And this becomes very of a hurdle that stops them from innovating or even do something big. Because you cannot set up like a good workflow, that means you can deliver a product in time and also on budget. So this is kind of like my focus on the space. Let me admit that too. So for today's agenda, we have a few sections. So first of all, we will be doing a few quiz about understanding your team. And after we've done the quiz, I actually want every one of you to mark down your result, and later on we will put that result back into Notion. And then we will have a little bit words about workflow management. Oh, okay, thanks. About workflow management, where we will know a technique that helps you to get things done. So as we start, there is two quizzes on the screen now. So you can pull up your phone, or there's links there, right? In the startup website.
If you go to the startup site, you can do it that way, but the easiest way is just to take it on your phone.
So I would do it as well as all of you do it. So just scan each bit on your iPhone. Hi there.
I'm your floater from Flux.
Yeah, text me. So we're taking a quiz right now for the first two quiz. So after we take the quiz, take a note of the result, and later on we will put it back into Notion. Okay. So each quiz is about like 5 to 10 minutes long. And it will talk about both how good are you to fit in the team experience, and also what type of thinkers that you are. So this could play a very key and instrumental role during our cooperation, as you know what people you could work best together, and also how do you going to work together in this 1 week very tight session.
If you guys have ever done a stat pro collaboration, these are the same ones you guys do at that one.
Is it okay if we only did it?
Yeah, for sure. If you've already done it, then that's okay.
Yeah, as long as you know the result, we can just bring it back to Notion later. There's no prize. But if you're in startup and you win, you have a prize. Yeah, when you're done, just raise your hand and let me know. Good. Very effective. Yeah, so for the people on Zoom, if you have any question, just type it out anytime. Yay, let's go. Hi there.
Expressor in chat.
Woo. So we are working on 2 quizzes right now. So you can do it alongside the rest of the workshop, like to catch up a bit. But both of this shows what kind of a thinker and also a communicator you are. And then later on, we will put those results back into our template. How's everyone's progress right now? Finish the first one? Working on the second one, okay. So around 2 to 3 more minutes. You liked it? You want to quit? Pop quit? We should adjust it next time. Of course we should. So how is everyone doing? All good? Good. So let's move on. So we are talking about team organization today. So you might ask a very basic question, like why bother to manage your team at all? Just like we have done so many projects at SCAD and like it used to work, right? Why have to we manage our team at all? So here's the chart. So in startup, we are building a good product in a 1 week short period. That is very intensive. And for a good business to be a practical thing, we need to combine people, process, and product. So not only your idea have to be good, you have to have a good team, but you also need a good process to manage it all, to present it. So so we are going to talk about one method that's specifically going to apply to everything we learn. What is GTD? So GTD is a method that developed by David Allen. So it is getting things done. That is easy to know, right? So for the entire GTD process, if you search on Google, there's a lot of versions of GTD, but we are going to focus on one single version. So it is about capture, process, organize, review, and do. And for most of our workshop today, oops, hello, it's okay. we are going to focus on the early half of the GTD process, which is capture, process, and organize. So when we're combining, when we are preparing for example, midpoint review, we need to show our process. And this is also true for all of our UX classes and also your major. Process is a very key part to let our partners, our business cooperation, to know that what's our business going on and why do we develop ideas such as this. So having a good capture and process stage is really crucial to any business success. By that, we can build a good foundation upon all our projects later on. And also there's new terms like big data, which basically use all our previous process data to generate new business model in the future. That is really important. So yeah, why don't just we go to work directly? Like you all have a good tools. Like who is good with Figma here? Well, some people. Who is good at Illustrator? Some people use Canva right here too. So trigger warning, there is a lot of competition in this space. You might use Trello against Notion, WhatsApp against Discord, Teams, Slack, whatever method you choose. Imagine you are working with your team today for the startup, and this is kickoff day, right? You spend 3 hours deciding whether you should use Discord and WhatsApp. I love Mark, right? Why don't we use WhatsApp? Oh, because Facebook stock is down, so we have to use Discord instead. We don't want everyone to run into this kind of situation. That's why establishing a good workflow is crucial for every team communication. And today, we are going to focus on Notion. So Notion is a startup. They do like an organization software for everyone that is free to use, especially for students. So right now, let's jump onto our computer. Everyone got their computer, right? And we will talk about how to use Notion directly. Let's jump into the game. So if you log into the Get Startup page for our specific workshop, in the resources page, you can actually see a link to this Notion file. Let me show it to you. One section, you will see our workshop, of course. And then you will be able to find our Notion template, which is pre-built with some element that for you to take off your team. So let me do a survey here. How many of you have heard about Notion before today? And how many of you actually actively use Notion day to day?
I try to.
What is the reason behind not using Notion?
It's a little hard to understand on how like different blocks that Notion works, so I kind of want to learn.
Exactly. Just like every other productivity software, there is a learning curve to Notion too. And for Notion, I understand that it is a bit steep for the learning curve, and it is very hard to get things done when you're just starting with a blank canvas. But luckily today, we got a template. So is there anyone have problem reaching this site or starting the Notion page? So if you're on Notion page right now, you will see there's a duplicate button on the top right. Can you find it on your page? So it will be kind of like on this share button location, you will see a duplicate one. Can you locate the duplicate button? Let me see. Okay, so click to the Notion. Yeah, open the workshop session and then we'll find Notion file. Click on Whiteboard and then Notion template. I kind of think that okay. So if you are already reaching the login page, go ahead and sign up an account with the Get email. That will give you free access to the premium version. so that you can use all the premium features. So Notion is basically a freemium software, so a lot of the basic feature is free to the public. But for us students, we just use our scan email to sign up, and there is a lot of more premium features and more storage available for us. Mhm. So, this situation. Just sign up first and reload that page and it should work. Anyone got any questions for that page? And I can create the workspace, go ahead. Just name a random one and go back to the previous one and duplicate it, and it should work like for the page. Good. You duplicated already. The same workspace, the same name, yeah. So everyone good? Are we good to move on? Yes. We just need to go back to. Make sure everything is all right. So everyone is looking at this screen and wonder, wow, there's so many stuff on the screen. There is like a time tracking stuff here. There's a task list, and there's somehow Gabriel showing up. Why? He's not even on my team. And somehow we are going to put gathering in Carnival. That's crazy, right? So this is basically a template which allows you to build your team success on this foundation. And we'll start from the basic concept of GTD. So the first thing is about, do anyone remember which one is the first thing on GTD? Capture, right? So what kind of stuff we have to capture in Notion, do you think? So basically, we are going to capture every part of our business process within Notion. So in Notion, a page can be divided as two types. The first type, we call it as a database page, which allows you to store data and with everything that you want. So for example, I can name something like Eat Gathering in Carnival and give it a date and to start it. Or I can create a database just for me to look up my teammates or whatever. This is all possible within Notion. And I'm going to teach you everyone about how to do it today. So right now we see the task page. You can just click on the task page and see. And here you can actually hit new to add a new item. And each item itself is actually an individual own page. Let me show you. So when we hit on a new page, we can add, for example, what do you guys want to call it? Give me something, anything?
Building your business model.
Okay. So basically, I have this whole page to work with now. So for example, if I'm in a class situation and this is actually like my personal space, I can actually type class schedule, and then I can just work with it and put on the stuff that I learned as a note taker. This is like a very basic kind of Notion use. But then in a database, we can actually add much more into Notion. For example, I can add a status here. So we would just remove it, and I'm showing you how to do it. So we can just add new, and then we can do a property type. You see, there's a lot of property type that we can do. It's like a full-fledged database that has all the data that you ever want. So for example, let's do a select. And then I can actually add any kind of attribute that I want. For example, upcoming. And for select this type of attribute, it only allows you to have single attribute here. If you do the multi-select that I just showed upstairs on top of the list here, you can actually do more than one. You can do upcoming, preparing, and then you can show multiple attributes in one. So this will help you, for example, to tag the work that you're working on. And we will just save it here as status right now. We will come back to it later. So let's see. So if you scroll down here, I have actually created quite a few databases for you. So one of it is idea. The other one is the task that we look into. And now we're going to jump to my team first. So with my team, it's also a database, just like just now. But then we can actually add a lot of team members, all of our team members, so that when your team member is hiding under the sea, under a pineapple or under a rock, you have the right information here to find him anywhere in the world. So for example, I would just say, Vincent is lost. The good thing is that I have his number. What is your number, Vincent? This is Vincent's number, I believe. Yeah, this is definitely Vincent. And then I can actually have all his information here. And if you just saw on the task database right now, I actually can link a specific task back to Vincent. Let me show you. Related to tasks, we can just add it, business canvas model. Yeah. And here, that is a task. So right now, this action you are seeing is what we call linked database. So as I explained just now, task and my team is two different databases. And what we are essentially doing is making one column that links together so that both of the data show up in both databases. So if I add a task here and then add it as a business, like for that task on the data, for the task, it actually automatically up to date. So we can just jump back to the task. Boom, you see Vincent is up there. The hard thing about Notion is that all of this stuff is very hard to set up in once, but once you get the wheels spinning, it is very easy to keep on going and keep all your tasks organized. So right now, I want you all to pull up the result that we just did, and we can actually add the result back to my team as a reference. So for example, Vincent, did you do the test?
I haven't.
You haven't? What have you done? What are you doing? You're not paying attention. Oh, that's why. So can somebody give me some of their qualities that they found just now? What's your quality?
Organizer is team player, steady, dependable, you avoid a lot of collisions.
So you can see that we can utilize like this type of multi-select issue to show all the attributes of one team member so that when we are referencing our My Team page, we can clearly see what's our team's advantage on certain team members. Is that clear for everyone? So let's do some more advanced stuff. So you can see like on the homepage, there is this fancy task thing that somehow is located on the homepage, but you just saw it underneath the database is clearly an independent page. Why is it here? So the magic about Notion is that you can basically bring your database to whatever page you want by simply typing a command or just selecting it. So let me remove it now. Okay. Oh, okay. My database is gone. What should I do? No rush. So here we can, on the side of the text field, you can see there's actually a plus button. This shows you all the options that you can actually add to Notion on this page. So if you pull it to the very bottom, you can actually see there's a linked database option, right? When you click on it, you can select the database you just create. That is task for us. But when you look at this looks nothing like we just created. Just now, we are sorting it by dates and whatever. So to sort your task by date, we just need to click on these three dots. We can add a sorting, and then we can sort it by, for example, for the due date, which is important. Why are we doing a due date situation? In a period like this, where every second matters, it is very important to know whose responsibility is and when is it due, so that you can make sure the task when it, for example, you have a research due today, and the next person doing the prototype can actually use the research right away with nothing in delay. So imagine you just finished your research on how people are going to eat ice cream in Savannah, and you can just create a task here. Ice cream eating research. And I can actually jump into the page and add something very exciting. So just by going back to the add thing, or you can actually type a slash to make it happen, we can actually create an inline database, which is not an individual page, but a small database that sits inside the page. So it won't show up like an individual page, but it will be there when you need it. So these are a full page, which means basically the whole entire page is a database. But when we select an inline option, boom, here. So we can say, for example, we can have all the primary data here. For example, the researchers, the interviewees number, for example, we have like 5 interviewees. You have to be consistent sometime. I have to change it back. And then we can actually put our like survey question and then put their answer here. You can basically also copy paste from Google spreadsheet. That will make things a lot easier for you. And then basically you will have the entire result portable with on your phone, on your Mac, on your PC, right in here. You don't have to go back and forth to go back to Google Drive to figure out where did you put your survey data and look for it anymore. So with that out of the way, we basically have the fundamentals here. And I'm going to show you the timeline thing. Now is it gone, right? So when we create, like we type the slash and you see a lot of those flashy database options, you might be scared, oh, which one should I select? What is the calendar type and why is it this task? What should I do with this task? Should I make it as a timeline or whatever? Do not be afraid. There's a lot of things that is hidden in Notion that is just a click away. So for a task field, you can see there's add a field on top of the button there. When you click on it, it will actually shows you all the options that you previously saw. I can actually just change it back in the timeline. Boom. You can see all the things that we are going. We're supposed to go to put Gary in Carnival. Ah, I missed that. So for this thing, in order for a task field like this to work properly, there's one specific thing that you actually need to do. So here in the timeline by, so you can actually see there's like a checkbox, your separate start and end dates. So this will actually help you to determine how long is your task with the due date and due date that we set as the task. So I can set due date as the start and due date as the end. And now you can see the full glory of the timeline. This will help you to manage your workflow and to make sure your team, every team member is on board. And save a lot of time. You do not have to figure out what are we going to use OneDrive or Google Drive, or are we going to stay with Figma or XD? No more that kind of competition. Just put everything here and everyone can see it. You can still use your favorite software to do something, but now the whole team can see it at the same time. Here on the top of the Notion page, you can actually see a share button. So with the share button, you can actually add your teammates onto the same Notion page as you are working on, so that they are all sharing the same workspace instead of now we have all separate different workspace on our laptop. So if you click share here, you can just type in their Scat email now because everyone uses Scat email to sign in and share it right away. So this is exactly how I share my template with all of you. Now you all have the access, or because you duplicate from it. So you all have the same thing, and then we can work all together. We can also share to the web. Like there's people that build their whole resume out of Notion. What is the benefit? Like, why don't I use just a Google document, type it out and print it out or whatever? The good thing about you building a resume or that kind of experience with Notion is that because everything is changed instantly. If you get an award today for a startup, yeah, I'm going to show it to every of my employers, but you have already sent your resume out. You can't show it. I just got the $1,000, right? You can just put it on Notion. And because all your employees got the same link, when they open it, oh, he just got a new award, $1,000. Man, this kid is fun. Yeah, so here's like a glimpse of the basic function. And now we are going to drill down a bit more on the advanced settings. So up here, do anyone have any questions on the Notion setup? Or how like feeling difficult Notion can be? Nope, that's good. So I can actually show you what Notion could be for not only for your team, but for yourself. So here you can see you should be different from me because that should be your name, but here it shows Scat. So in Notion with your Scat email, you can actually have multiple workspaces to separate, for example, your work and life to maintain a good work-life balance. This is important. Don't mix your work and life together. Very important, never.
Career advice from Gabriel.
This is very important. I learned it the hard way. No. So here we have the beautiful Scat Hong Kong Where Startup Star set, right? And you can actually see this is my dashboard for my day. The good thing is that I cleared everything off my midterm, so you see nothing here. But here, it actually shows you, for example, if I have an assignment from one of my professors, I can actually show you to add one. So what do you want, midterm exam? Let's do midterm exam. Who doesn't like midterm exam? Me doesn't. Midterm exam. I can actually select which course I want to be. So the course one is actually an individual database. So what you're seeing right now with that pointing up arrow is a linked database. We just saw it right now. So I would just add Professor Janice class here, and then I can actually do a due date for next Monday. And then, well, because her midterm is next Monday, I guess, we would do the practice on Saturday, on Sunday. We would just start first. And then this will be actually the date. And then is there an event? Nope. Am I finished practicing or doing it? Nope. Here, I can actually add my grade after it got graded back to here. So you keep a track of all your class performance. I can show you if you don't. You have to sign an NDA after you see my class score, okay? Everyone take an NDA before you leave. So I can show you here. So you can see that I actually have two separate things. I have one called dashboard, which is the fun page that everyone see and love. And we actually have another page called fold. So in the fold page, I actually, this is basically all databases that I store all the information. For notes, it's basically all my class notes, which means every class that I have will have their own individual pages back into the note database. So when I browse my note database, I can see all my class notes. It is showing I'm not a good student. I have not enough notes here for some reason. But then you can also have your main assignment database, which is all the way from freshman, but I see some midterm exam that is not checked off for some reason. Shh, stop laughing. So what I recommend is that for the database pages, you actually do not like touch it intentionally. Instead, you create those like linked database in the front page in order with those like sorting and stuff to help you to set up it. So basically, by doing this, you are protecting the back end of your database data with no one's touching it and messing it up the whole workflow that you set up perfectly like this. Do not see the grading. So you can see, for example, I can just pull up every project that I have, and then you can actually add like a document here. For example, I can just jump in and I can actually add like a file and media here. And by doing this, you can actually put your finished midterm PDF back to here. And then the next time you're in a career meeting with your career advisor, can you show me your midterm? I think I deleted it. And then go onto Blackboard and try to search it, but then you'll find out that you have lost access to Blackboard or scat internet sucks and go down again. You got the backup here, just right where you need it. So just now you see there's like a lot of courses that I have on the database. How do you going to manage all those courses? We all have suffered from the degree planner, right? Everyone who have suffered from degree planner, please raise your hand. Everyone hates degree planner, I know. So here, actually, I'm using a different style of a database, which is a table, a board. The usually is called table, and then we have board field, which is this is a board field. So this is showing basically my whole degree planning. I can actually chase it back to my freshman year here, which we are not going to see because those foundation classes scary. We don't talk about foundation class here. So you can see, oh, now I have a messed up spring quarter. What should I do? I'm not going to take graphic design next quarter, right? I would just move it to summer. And now I already know what class I'm going to take. The only step that I need to do before all of this is to input all the class from your degree planner once with the table field. You just keep adding all the class you have. You don't even need to figure out who's your professor. You will figure it in the future, right? You just leave it there and then just assign it. For example, it's a major. I used to do graphic design, so the graphic design class is still here. So if I ever want to switch major again, my class is still there. You just can't see it here. That's the power of Notion. Everything you need right on your fingertips. And by this, you basically finish the process part of your entire workflow to the GTD workflow. And you can basically use this pattern to keep on doing until you are successful, until you have done your SCAD class, until you have finished your startup week and start another project. There's a lot of different opportunities around Notion that you can explore. Some of the function that we touched on today is kind of fundamental, but it already set you up to a certain degree that you can actually pull different functions from the mass amount of function from Notion. And there's a lot you can explore. For example, why Gabriel can show weather in metric, not imperial? Why? I'm Canadian, so I'm just metric. So just make it clear. Yeah. There's widgets developed just for Notion that you can search on Google that you can make it fancy. If you like pink color, you can make it pink color. If you like green, make it green. It's all customizable. And I actually recommend you go on to Reddit after your startup week. If you want to make your Notion experience more personal, go to Reddit and search for Notion. And there's a lot of people just showing how many different kinds of Notions out there could be. I could just pull on here, and then I can just show you some of it. Like you can be very customizable in the terms of Notion. Like you can do like minimalist setup with all the dates, and you can see the weather today before you go out. If that is the first thing you do, open your Notion every day and see what's the weather. Here you are. you can also be very aesthetic. You can see the calendar or the field, nice field. You can set your own banner on top of Notion. Here, just change cover, and then you can select whatever you want. I'm not going to switch Scat Hong Kong away. That's the baseline. And also, I can also add events. For example, we all know that the next week is the career fair. I can just add, is it 27, right? Or 26, yeah, 26. I can just add here, right on the spot, get career fair. Boom. I have career fair on my calendar right now. I can even add the date. Like if I know I have booked with a company, I can just add the catalog. It's academic, of course. If this is not virtual, we can even add a building here. So, oops, it does not work this time. Let's figure it out later. But yeah, even for the class, if we go to anthropology class, you can actually see I have a class in Arnold Hall. I can, because everything is stored in linked database, when I click Arnold Hall, I can see all my classes previously taken in Arnold Hall. And because my professors are also in the database, you don't have to search the syllabus again to look for his phone number and try to call his deck. And you all can, of course, you can save his office hour too, right? So everything that is related to the GTD process is all about capturing the data that you need, which is basically as much as you can to allow you to process it with tools like Notion and also other productivity tools, no matter what you use. Find the one that suits your team or suit your need. Notion is not the only tools, but I will personally recommend Notion. And basically with these tools, you can do whatever you want. Just go and build it. So this is basically the end of my presentation. And for additional resources, you can go back to the Notion page and then click on the front page, there's a reference. So here I have included a few advanced video tutorial, a basic one that basically cover what we talked today, a few productivity tips that is not too long. I know everyone have like very limited time. And then also a GTD workshop with dashboard so that it helps you to make your stuff more organized and more presentable. Just like I can pull my whole SCAD course up and show everyone. Usually it's not that clean, I promise, but yeah, stay with your process, grow on Notion, stay with one platform, and then here you will go and make your workflow organized. So where do we go from here? Build something, this startup, right? Where do we go? Follow the theme, build something great, and we will see each other next Friday. And that's the end of the workshop. Okay, so any question about Notion or
Yay, Gabriel!
Yeah.
I have a question. So many people like me would be understanding or having an idea about it for the first time, and it's all about management and like keeping track of you. I get it, but like, would you recommend it to user right now since like we have a week to do the scout out thing? And if we pay attention to this and try to understand and get a basic idea of how Notion works, won't we be delaying the other things?
So this is the thing that why we just share all our templates to everyone, and now everyone has access to the template, is that you can build on the foundation that we teach today. You can add your team's attributes, your team members' attributes. You can build on the foundation that we provide so that you don't have to go through that stage and set it up everything again. You got the right tools on your hand to get the week started. We talk about how to do your timeline there. You can basically track your timeline and whose responsibility right on spot. So I hope this could help you and your team to empower you to success in the sort of weeks. And yeah, this is basically about. Any other questions or confusion about Notion or how to use it? Just, yeah. You also got my LinkedIn and also my numbers on this slide, also on the Notion reference page.
Can you go to the next slide? Just quick?
Yes. Oops. Hello. Yeah. So yeah, you can contact me on my scan email if you want to, and feel free to spam my email for whatever Notion question. If you need to go to a cafe or talk to me, feel free to do it. Yeah, and put your effective communicator and assertive thinkers result to your Notion page to learn about more about the team's preference and what they're strong and what they're weak at. And yeah, I hope this workshop find everyone fun and everyone enjoys this workshop so much. Yeah, feel free to leave. Or if you have any questions, just come and ask me.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Yeah. To be honest, this room is a bit hot.
Yeah.
Typical Arnold temperature.
Is anybody signed up for the next session in a couple minutes by any chance? Yeah, those are business model. Okay, well, I just do this. I'm gonna be this opportunity.
Woo. If you need any help, I will be just right outside the door.